What's going on, Yu-Gi-Oh community? It's YGO Pal. I'm back here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the brand new archetype that was just revealed to us that will be featured in Ancient Guardians entitled Bearcti. Now, this is a brand new archetype that changes the rules of Synchro Summoning for a whole different reason. I don't know what the heck they were doing, that we should just call this Dark Synchro Summoning, except they're no longer dark monsters from the anime. You'll understand once I get to these cards, but this is a very interesting look at Synchro Monsters from now on. I feel like they should be doing this to some other cards too in the future. So let's go ahead and look at this archetype. We have Bearcti Mikpola. It is a level 7 water beast effect monster with 700 attack points, 2000 defense points. You can only use each of this card's name's first and second effects once per turn. During the main phase quick effect, you contribute one other level 7 or higher monster in your hand. Special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except monsters that have a level. If this card is special summoned, you can add one Bearcti monster from your deck to your hand except itself. So what's really neat about this is that it is a quick effect to special summon it during your turn, during your opponent's turn, and you could still get a search during your turn or your opponent's turn. So that's really neat. Now, all these cards do have the first effect, so they all will have that, but the second effect is going to be exclusive per monster. So this is the Stratos of the deck. Now we have Bearcti Mictanus, level 7 water beast effect monster, 700 type points, 1700 defense points. You can only use each of this card's name's first and second effects once per turn. During the main phase quick effect, you contribute one other level 7 or higher monster in your hand. Special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except monsters that have a level. If this card is special summoned, you can target one Bearcti monster in your graveyard except itself, add it to your hand. So what's really neat about this one is that you can tribute another Bearcti monster in your hand, especially summon this card from your hand, and if you want to, you can recycle that same Bearcti monster you tributed to your hand to either special summon again or just to get more fodder for later turns. It's really neat that it just recycles anything, and it's not restricted that you can't return the one that you just tributed. So that's really neat as well. And the first two cards here do have 700 attack points, so cards like Salvage would definitely work to help improve the hand so you can have more monsters to keep tributing. So that's actually really neat. Followed by this third card, which also fits the bill for that spell. This is Bearcti McBills. It is a level 7 water beast effect monster with 700 attack points, 1400 defense points. You can only use each of this card's name's first and second effects once per turn. During the main phase quick effect, you contribute one other level 7 or higher monster in your hand. Special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except monsters that have a level. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon one Bearcti monster from your hand except itself. So what's kind of neat about this one is that you can get around the tributing another monster to special summon a Bearcti from your hand if you have this one onto the field, so you get to at least keep one card so you don't have to tribute. I'm sorry, you don't even have to tribute a Bearcti monster. It's just any monster you don't have to tribute now. And this can also set up during your opponent's turn, and it's really neat because I'll show you guys the next three cards that can actually really interact during your opponent's turn. Following this, and this is where it ends at 700 attack points, so these three targets could be recycled with cards like Salvage, so that's actually really cool. Now we're going to get onto the main beaters we have here, is Bearcti Megapola. It is a level 8 water beast effect tuner effect monster. It has 2500 attack points, 700 defense points. You can only use each of this card's name's first and second effects once per turn. During the main phase quick effect, you contribute one other level 7 or higher monster in your hand. Special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except monsters that have a level. If this card is special summoned while you control another Bearcti monster, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls, destroy it. So it is a back row removal. It can be activated during your turn, during your opponent's turn, and if you have that target, like I mentioned, you can special summon this card without having to tribute any monster in your hand, and you can still do a pop destruction on the back row. It's really cool. Nice interaction during your opponent's turn. Now we have the Bearcti Megatonus. It is a level 8 water beast warrior tuner effect monster, 2400 attack points, 700 defense points. You can only use each of this card's name's first and second effects once per turn. During the main phase quick effect, you contribute one other level 7 or higher monster in your hand. Special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except monsters that have a level. If this card is special summoned while you control another Bearcti monster, you could target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face-down Fizetsism. Sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied there. So this is your Book of Moon for the deck. This is really neat because you could, like I said, it's a quick effect, so you could do this during your opponent's turn to special summon itself, book one of their monsters, and prevent them from link summoning or using that monster for a link material. That's pretty neat. So anything that relies on getting that first normal summoning and then linking it off into it could get affected, but it just depends on what the matchup is. So again, another control option during your opponent's turn. Next we have the Bearcti Mega Bills. It is a level 8 Water Beast Warrior Tuner effect monster, 2000 attack points, 700 defense points. You can only use each of this card's names first and second effects once per turn. During the main phase, quick effect, you contribute one other level 7 or higher monster in your hand. Special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except monsters that have a level. If this card is special summoned while you control another Bearcti monster, you can target one card in your opponent's graveyard, banish it. Now, that's actually really neat too. It depends on what the matchup is. You can choose to banish any card when you summon this card during your turn or summon this card during your opponent's turn, and you can at least try to banish up to 1 to 2 cards depending on if you have more copies of this card in your hand. So the matchup could be really cool. Depends on what you banish. So that's pretty neat. It has a control for the graveyard. And yeah, so the last 3 monsters have controls during your opponent's turn. This was a back row destruction, the Book of Moon, and then a DD Crow during your opponent's turn. Now let's get onto the main cards that we're going to be talking about here is the Synchro Monsters. The first card we have is Bearcti Polary. It is a level 1 Water Beast Synchro Effect Monster, 700 attack points and 1000 defense points. Cannot be Synchro Summoned. Must be special summoned from the extra deck by sending 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner you control whose levels differ by 1 to the graveyard. So this is essentially Dark Synchro Summoning during the anime series, if you guys remember that. And it's a very interesting concept that they're now bringing this into the TCG, and it's neat. You can only use each of this card's name's first and second effects once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can activate 1 Bearcti Big Dipper directly from your deck. You can tribute 1 level 7 or higher monster, add to your hand, or special summon 1 Bearcti monster from your graveyard. So, what's really neat about this is that it can activate a field spell from the deck, but then what's also, you can use the graveyard option to special summon a level 8 tuner, and then the rest of the Synchro Monsters are going to be level 7, so you can special summon the level 8 tuner monster. This will be the level 1 non-tuner monster, so essentially you can use this and any level 8 of the Bearcti tuners to go into any of the level 7 Synchro Monsters. The first Synchro Monsters we're going to be talking about, the level 7 ones, is a Bearcti Steppen Trion, level 7 Water Beast Warrior Synchro Effect Monster, 3000 attack points, 700 defense points. Cannot be special summoned. Cannot be Synchro Summoned. Must be special summoned from the extra deck by sending 1 level 8 or higher tuner and 1 non-tuner Synchro monster you control whose levels differ by 7 to the graveyard. You can only use this card's name's second effect once per turn. The effect of all face-up monsters special summoned from the extra deck that have no level are negated. So that says goodbye to Xyz, to Link monsters. You cannot use any of their effects, so that's really neat. Synchros want to be the dominant extra deck mechanic now. If your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, you can add 1 Bearcti card from your deck to your hand. So it's also like another Stratos, but mainly the Floodgate effect is just really neat. I love this card. The artwork of it is like a big old Megazord. It's just really neat. Now we're going to go on to the other level 7 Bearcti monster here. We have Bearcti Grand Chariot as a level 7 Water Beast Warrior Synchro Effect Monster, 2700 attack points, 700 defense points. Cannot be Synchro Summoned. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by sending 1 level 8 or higher tuner and 1 non-tuner Synchro monster you control whose levels differ by 7 to the graveyard. If this card is special summoned, you can target up to 2 other cards on the field, destroy them. So it's an Icarus attack without having to do the tributing. Pretty cool. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets a Bearcti cards or cards you control, quick effect, you contribute 1 monster from your hand or field, negate the activation. So this effect's okay, but it has to target a Bearcti card or cards you control. Now essentially that could be like Twin Twister or Cosmic Cyclone to target any of your back rows, but it's okay. I do like the pop effects though. Next we're going to be talking about is Bearcti Big Dipper as a field spell card. Once per turn, if you would tribute a monster to activate a Bearcti monster's effect, you can banish 1 level 7 or higher Bearcti monster from your graveyard instead. So it replaces the requirements in order to special summon any of your Bearcti monsters from your hand, and it's not once per turn per activation. So you can activate another copy if you want to keep banishing from your graveyard, and that's kind of cool. Each time a monster or monsters is special summoned, place 1 counter on this card. Once per turn, if a monster or monsters is special summoned, you can remove all counters from this card, minimum of 7, then target 1 monster your opponent controls, take control of it. You can only activate this effect while there is a Bearcti Synchro monster on the field. So what's really neat is that you take full control of that monster and you do not give it back to your opponent. It just says, nope, it does not go back to your opponent, and that's about it. So from what I can understand here is that if you happen to have open with this field spell, you activate it, you're more than likely going to try to get your 2 monsters out and then go into a Synchro Summon, and that'll be your 3rd summoning. There's probably a lot more ways you can special summon with this card on the field to set up so many counters on it, and then you have to rely on your opponent to keep adding to the counters as well. So it just depends on when you want to activate this and when you do have 7. Like if they special summon more monsters and your opponent, and this card does not have 7 counters on it, they summon their best one, you're not going to be able to get that monster. So it kind of gives them into that state of like, you know what, better not special summon this thing because that thing's going to hit 7. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. I like the concept of that. Next, we have Bearcti Slider. It's a quick play spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Target one of your Bearcti monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, except monsters that have a level. Also special summon that target, but it cannot attack. Also destroy it during the end phase. So you can special summon any of your main deck monsters. You cannot special summon any of the Synchro Monsters. I don't think so because they say must be special summoned from the extra deck. It doesn't say must first be special summoned, and they're not properly Synchro summoned. So more than likely you cannot reborn those cards, and you would just have to focus on the main deck cards. But since this also does with the banish, like I said with the first with the field spell, it goes hand in hand with each other since you're going to be banishing them to special summon from your hand. So it's not bad. It's pretty cool. Next we have the trap. The last card is a trap. Bearcti Quentin Charge. It is a continuous trap. Once per turn, you can pay 700 life points to activate one of these effects. Add one Bearcti monster from your graveyard to your hand. So that comes in handy if you want to summon during your opponent's turn. It depends what you want to summon, so you can either pop back row or Book of Moon something. The other effect is tribute 2 Bearcti monsters, and if you do special summon one Bearcti monster from your extra deck whose levels equals the difference between those monsters' levels, ignoring its summoning conditions. So this is kind of neat in the sense that you can try to special summon the Grand Chariot during your opponent's turn to pop 2 cards they control, or to special summon the Floodgate during your opponent's turn. But it just really depends on what the matchup is, so you can try to pop 2 cards at the most, because I feel like this is going to be the main starter that you're going to want to go into during your turn. But like I said, it just depends on the matchup there. The second effect is when your Bearcti monster is destroyed by battle with an opponent's attacking monster, you can have your opponent shuffle cards from their hand, field, and graveyard into the deck until they have a total of 7. So that's kind of interesting too, but I feel like they're going to be doing from the graveyards more, so this is not going to affect their field or their hand. It just depends, I guess. But other cards here to note is something like the RC Rock Sunshine can special summon back beast monsters from the graveyard. So I think that's going to be very important to keep special summoning the level 1, because like I said, you use a level 1 at any of the level 8 Synchro Monsters, and you go into any of the level 7 Synchro Monsters, and this deck is just really crazy. It changes the rules of Synchro Monsters forever, really. They can do this for anything now. But we are missing one card. I believe we are missing one more card here. It should either be an extra deck. This is number 35. And the spell would be 37. Yeah, so we're missing number 36. So it could either be another Synchro Monster or a spell card. If it's a spell card, I hope it's something that you can banish from your graveyard any of the Bearcti monsters, and you can special summon from your extra deck a Synchro Monster that has the level difference. You know what I mean? Something like that. I think the deck could really use to make things a little bit easier too. But all in all, this is actually a really good start for the Ancient Guardians, and I'm excited to see what this deck could do in action, and I would love to play this deck. And I just cannot wait to see what people think about this. Do you guys like this, and do you guys like the changes that they did to Synchro Monsters now? For me, I like this. They should have done this when the original Dark Synchro Monsters came out in the tin cans, because they should have done that just to kind of match what they did in the anime, but whatever. So with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this video, and let me know in the comment section what you think about this archetype, and do you think this has meta potential, especially with the big old level 7 Floodgate that says goodbye to Xyz and Link monsters. I think this deck is going to be really cool to play. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.